Okay, welcome back to part 2, where we are going to be programming our test bed button now, so that instead of using the computer, even though it will be running, we're going to be able to press this button and it's going to turn the wheels on, and when we let go of the button, it's going to turn the wheels off. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is declare our button. So head over to Motors and Sensor Setup, and we're done with motors. And a button is not an analog system because you only have two choices with buttons. A button can either be pressed, which will give it the value of 1, or it could be not pressed, which will give it the value of 0. So head over to where it says Digital Sensors, and where Digital 6 is, let's go ahead and say this is going to be where we're going to put our button. So write button, all lowercase, and for the sensor type, we're going to say it is a digital in. That means that it is sending in a signal to the cortex. Also, please make sure in the digital section that your button is plugged into port 6. Okay, in the digital. It says digital on the side. Don't plug it into the motors, please. Okay. So button, press apply. You're going to notice it added a new line to the top of our program. Press OK. And now, inside of this while loop, we're going to add a few spaces by pressing enter on the keyboard. And we need to write what is known as a condition. So the condition is going to be as follows. If then parenthesis sensor value, so it's going to be looking for a sensor, parenthesis, we have to name the sensor, and notice that the parentheses are going the same way, and our sensor is called button. Close the parenthesis. If sensor value is equal, so we're comparing it because we put two equal signs, is equal to 1, that means the button is pressed. Close that with a parenthesis. Then something's going to happen. So on the next line, I want you to put a squiggly bracket, and you get that by holding down the shift key and pressing the square bracket. Then this is going to happen, and right after it, I want you to hold down the shift key and put another squiggly bracket like that, and then press enter. So if button is equal to 1, this is going to happen. So then the question is, what happens if it's not equal to 1? So we're going to write a statement that is else. Else is going to happen if doesn't happen. Else, enter, squiggly bracket, enter, and we need to write motor, or actually instead of writing it, we can just copy these. So select these two, right click, copy, and inside that else, after that little squiggly bracket, right click and paste. Okay? Else, motor left, the speed is going to go to 0. So that means it's not going to move. And motor right is going to go 0 as well. After that, after motor right, press enter once and close off the squiggly bracket. Okay? So the else statement controls everything in here. The if statement controls everything in here. The while statement, like if you think about where the squiggly bracket is, controls everything in there. And the task main, that squiggly bracket controls the whole program. Okay. So think about what this says. If the button is equal to 1, that means if the button's being pressed, run the motors. Else if it's not being pressed, turn off the motors. Okay? So go ahead, press compile program. Hopefully you'll have no errors on the bottom. If you do, look at the line and see if you misspelled anything or if you forgot a bracket or if you used the wrong bracket type. Then after that, press download to robot. It should download it to your robot. Wait a few seconds for that start stop thing to pop up here. Then make sure your robot's on. Plus press start. Just start and let it keep going. and then go ahead and press the button. And hopefully when you press the button, the wheels spin, and when you let it go, the wheels turn off. Okay, there you go. That's your second program. Good job. We're going to move on to light sensors next, so I will see you in the next video, guys. Good job. Have a good day. Peace.